We hear all the time about how to make money, right? But what about how to spend it? Today, we're diving into the surprisingly tricky art of using money to actually truly improve our lives, not just our bank statements. And our guide for this little journey is Morgan Housel. You might know him from the bestseller, The Psychology of Money. He has this really fascinating take on all this. See, for him, spending isn't just about spreadsheets and budgets. Nope. It's about the powerful and often totally unconscious stories we tell ourselves about what actually matters. Okay, so let's jump right in with a pretty wild idea, the happiness paradox. It's this strange thing that happens when you get exactly what you thought you wanted, and it ends up making you feel worse. How does that even work? Just think about that for a second. She said the surgery ruined her life. Now, this was said by a patient who had just gone through a flawless, life-changing procedure. So, what on earth is going on here? Well, here's the story. The surgery, it was a total success. Her vision was perfect. But see, what she was really hoping for wasn't just better eyesight. She had built up this whole fantasy that without her glasses, her husband would find her more beautiful, her coworkers would think she was smarter. And the crushing reality was that real human connection, it just doesn't work that way. It goes so much deeper than that. And that right there brings us to this really profound lesson. She got exactly what she wanted, perfect vision, but it wasn't what she truly needed, which was to feel more connected, more respected. And this is a trap that, let's be honest, so many of us fall into, especially when it comes to how we spend our money. So, if we're not always spending on what we truly need, what are we spending on? Well, a lot of the time, it's driven by this powerful, invisible force, the pressure to do what we think we're supposed to do. Let this number just sink in for a moment. $21,000. What pops into your head? Maybe a new car? A down payment on a house? Maybe? How about an armchair? Yeah, not kidding. Morgan Housel tells this incredible story from when he was working as a valet. He overheard a guy bragging about dropping 21 grand on a single chair. But here's the real kicker. It's the reason he gave. He didn't say, oh, it's the most comfortable chair I've ever owned, or talk about how much he loved it. Nope. His reason was, this is what you're supposed to do. His purchase had nothing to do with personal joy. It was about following some social script of what he thought a rich person was supposed to do. And that's a question we can all ask ourselves, right? When we make a big purchase, are we buying something that will genuinely, truly make us happy? Or are we just following a script that's been written for us by society or by advertisers or even by our friends? This whole idea of spending based on these social scripts, it leads us to a really simple but powerful way of thinking about money. At the end of the day, money can play one of two roles in our lives, and the one we choose makes all the difference for our happiness. On one side, you've got money as a tool. This is when we use it to actually build a better life. More freedom, more great experiences, more time with people we love. But on the other side, you've got money as a yardstick. And that's when it becomes all about measuring our status and comparing ourselves to other people. And it is so easy to get caught up in using it as a yardstick, even when we know, deep down, we should be using it as a tool. And that's the great irony of the whole thing, isn't it? The more you spend to try and show people how much money you have, well, the less money you actually end up with. It's a game that is almost impossible to win. So here's the bottom line. Money can be a huge asset for sure. It can buy freedom, but it can also become this heavy psychological liability. When we get too caught up in just chasing more, it can start to hijack who we are. It starts to control us instead of the other way around. So what's the alternative to all this? Well, some people call it the simple life, but don't let that name fool you. This isn't about giving everything up and living like a monk. It's about a really radical shift in how we think about our relationship with money. A simple life can absolutely still be a life filled with nice, even extravagant things. The point isn't about how much stuff you have. The real question is, are you in control of your possessions or are they in control of you? It's about making conscious choices about what you own, based on what truly brings you joy, not just because you're chasing the next shiny object. And man, Benjamin Franklin just hit the nail on the head with this one. He wrote this hundreds of years ago, but it feels more relevant today than ever. Sometimes the very things we buy to bring us pleasure end up costing us way more in our time, our energy, and our peace of mind. They own us. So we'll leave you with this one final thought. It might just be the most important question you can ask yourself about your financial life. Is your money serving you, or are you serving it? The answer to that question, well, that is the true art of spending money.